showers and a soft drizzle greet Virginia and Georgia Tech here today at Scott Stadium. Annual meeting between the two longtime Coastal Division rivals, and we welcome you to ACC football presented by your local Ford dealer. On a Super Saturday in the ACC, we've got stakes in a Coastal Division matchup here this afternoon as Bronco Mendenhall's team tries to snap a two-game skid. Yeah! We welcome Georgia Tech. And with James Bates, West Durham, we welcome you to our coverage. You'll meet Rebecca Capel in just a moment, because here is the scenario playing out today. While you know about the ball game this afternoon in Raleigh, huge stakes in the Atlantic. Tonight in South Florida, big stakes in the Coastal. This one here also has implications in the Coastal Division, James.
Two teams, yes, playing for bowl eligibility, but also still not out of the race in the Cuckoo Coastal Division, just as it always is around this time. Now, Miami, if Miami wins tonight and Virginia loses to Georgia Tech, then Miami is the king of the Coastal. But a lot can happen, and still, Georgia Tech and Virginia not out of that picture. You want to get into a bowl, Virginia, you need one more win. And you know what you really need? You need to play some inspired football. The kind of football that we expect from Micah Kaiser. But the last couple weeks, he's been a little bit tired. Come on, big fella. I know you're an old man, a senior here, but these guys look up to you. He's our hardy star to watch, and Wes, my eyes are going to be on him today because there's a chance that he could come away with 20 tackles, and he's already one of the leading tacklers in the ACC.
Well, you're right about that, and at the point of attack today, he'll hit a freshman redshirt who's been lighting it up for Georgia Tech, his fifth 100-yard game last Saturday, and that's Cavante Benson.
Well, last Saturday against Clemson, he went for 129 yards, and that's more than number 14 Auburn had on the ground the entire game against this mighty Clemson defense. I really love him for this offensive beatback. He's short and stocky. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. You remember that? The little toys that you couldn't knock him down, and he is so tough to bring down. When he gets rolling, things are really good for this Georgia Tech offense, and really, when he's got to get going early.
Well, coaches will tell you all the time, Rebecca, that every game's important, but Bronco Mendenhall and Paul Johnson, I think since there's a little more at stake here today in Charlottesville.
You are right about that. It is November football. The schedules are only getting tougher, so we know how important this game is for both Georgia Tech and Virginia. And after a couple of weeks of essentially tiptoeing around that elusive sixth win, well, UVA coach Bronco Mendenhall, he finally addressed it with his team this week. He said he underestimated the impact of the pressure they put on themselves to get that sixth win, and just talking about it relieved a lot of guys. For Georgia Tech, the Coastal Division still in play. Paul Johnson telling his team there's a lot of what-if scenarios that have to play out, but that's out of their hands. There's only one thing they can control today, guys, and that is getting a win here. Back to you.
Okay, Rebecca, thanks very much. Georgia Tech won the toss and deferred, so we'll get a look at Joe Reed on the receiving end of this kick. And here is Reed playing just shy of the 10-yard line. Had a big return last week, and now Reed on the opening kick of the ball game across midfield, and finally taken down in Georgia Tech territory at the 34-yard line. He had a kick return for a score last year against Carolina. He went 69 yards on a return last week at Pittsburgh. This one is 58 before Jaquan Henderson, the linebacker, brings him down.
Well, the woes of the special teams. Bronco Mendenhall talked about it the last couple weeks. They've had some flashes, though, where they've gotten a lot better. Reed has definitely been a bright spot. And just like you said, against Pittsburgh, he got him in great position early on for this offense, and they came up empty. So important now for Virginia, who's trying to find some sort of tempo, some sort of momentum to make that count. Take advantage of this outstanding field position given to him by Reed.
Callie is the extra tight end. They're going to hand the ball, and this is trying to get here Jordan Ellis to the near side, and he's going to be taken out by Lawrence Austin, the nickel, in this Georgia Tech set of a 4-3. And here is Kurt Benkert, started his collegiate career at East Carolina, now crafted veteran, married about a year or so, and interesting guy to talk to, James.
Well, he was. Outstanding early in the season after a rough junior year, and just really a tough last couple of weeks. And he admitted to us, he's like, I've got to get into a groove early. I've got to hit a couple of my early passes. There's his first chance at throwing.
Then Kurt moves the pocket, zips it, and this is Donnie Dowling. And he'll be tackled near the first down mark at the 24-yard line. Christian Campbell, who's playing today in the secondary because of an injury to A.J. Gray, made the stop, and they measure him a yard short.
Well, and just what the doctor ordered for this offense, for this football team, and most importantly, for number 6. You could just sense the frustration in a guy who's fought through so many things, and as he goes, this entire team goes.
Here's a big jumbo set, James. It's been good to him. And Benkert keeps it this time. And still on his feet, plows to the 19. Alexander, the linebacker, the first guy to get there, but a very aggressive play on short yardage for Kurt Benkert.
Well, you saw Jake Feeler, the new center, who's, as they shifted around, Bronco Mendenhall's offensive line banged up a little bit. They lose English for the season. And so Feeler has to become the center. You see how jazzed he was after that. And those are the kind of things, these 3rd and 1s, the just overpowering the defensive front, like you go back to the Duke game, back to the North Carolina game. It's setting the tempo, the offensive line.
Benkert going to keep it again. And he'll get a couple of yards there.
Wes, I'll say this without a doubt. Even if they have to attempt a field goal right here, this is what you want to see if you're a Wahoo fan. It's been for 2 weeks, and this now is the 4th time in a row we've had this Virginia team. Against North Carolina, they showed some flashes, they showed some grit, and it was fun to watch. The last 2 weeks, they have played soft, and they have played uninspired. Well, there's some inspiration, there's some juice for the Cavaliers here early in this football game, and that's nice to see.
Second down. Reset and tried to get it to Dowling, and that was Lance Austin covering. One of the Austin twins, senior from Barnesville, Georgia. Playing in his 45th career game today. A lot of football in the career, Lance Austin.
Well, not just in college, too, but you imagine the pickup games with Lawrence and Lance going at it, front yard ball, front yard brawls more like it when you've got two brothers the same age.
3rd down and 9. Here's Benkert again pushing the pocket. Going to throw for the Lavroni and offline incomplete. That was Lawrence Austin in coverage of Andre Lavroni. And so now Mejia will try and come on and cover this after the 58-yard kick return by Joe Reed. Virginia, James, has run 6 plays, and A.J. Mejia, whose longest field goal on the year is 38 against Boston College, will try one from 36.
Very important not to come away empty here. They need this big 3.
And the kick by Mejia is good. So the Cavaliers do take advantage of the kick return by Reed. Mejia banks home the field goal. And Virginia's got an early lead at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville. Back to Scott Stadium in a moment. Well, yesterday we had a beautiful Sunshine Friday in Charlottesville. Today it's turned a little more overcast. Rebecca Capel is our lady on the scene for that, James.
I love it. It feels great, you guys. Like 40-something degrees, a constant drizzle. But you know what? This field is in great shape. It's brand new this season, and there's a layer of gravel, a layer of sand. The rain just absorbs right in it. It could be slippery for these guys, but nothing they can do about that.
And the kick for Cottrell. Nathan Cottrell off the 2. Looking at the 20. And toward the 25. And so that's where Georgia Tech will start, a 22-yard return. Here's Taquan Marshall, Batesy.
Well, and Marshall makes this thing go. Boy, is he fun to watch on the ground. And he can get it done through the air. But obviously here at Georgia Tech, when you can tuck it and you can run and you can make the decisions on the fly like he can. The junior Taquan Marshall, who may be 170. They've got him listed as at 180, but he's very tough. 170 pounds of pure steel at times, it seems like. But this is an offense that's had to deal with a lot of these rainy situations here this season.
Marshall fakes the toss, and he sets sail to the far side. Taquan Marshall, 19 yards on 1st down. So Taquan Marshall pushes it out to the 39-yard line and a Georgia Tech 1st down.
Hey, Kervonte Benson, no rock, no problem. I don't need to have the ball in my hands and make a difference here in this. Watch him. You're going to see him coming out right there. Now watch him block the defender into the sideline and through the coaching staff. A couple bodies, like bowling pins, people are falling down over there on the Georgia Tech sidelines. Still adjusting his face mask while he's in his 3-point stance.
Boy, Taquan Marshall got collared quick. Awkward fall, but I think he got a couple of yards out of it. Here's a look at the first playoff rankings. James, I'm always fascinated by 11 to 25 in these first rankings. I see teams like Virginia Tech at 13, Iowa State, big game at West Virginia today, they're 15. NC State down there at 20.
Well, in Virginia Tech, a lot of ball in front, a lot of big games in front of them.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's not where you're from, it's where you're at when it all comes down to it, when the dust settles at the end. And boy, does Clemson know that last year. That late season loss to Pittsburgh, they're still hanging in there tough.
Marshall wants to throw. He's got a man wide open. Jalen Camp inside the 10, and Camp banged out of bounds near the 2. In his 19th career game, the big sophomore from Cumming, Georgia, comes up huge in the pass game.
Well, you get lulled to sleep. Look at everybody go blowing out of there, trying to defend that run. When you're facing an offense that throws it maybe 8 times a game, and even then, not with a lot of success, you get lulled to sleep. It's human nature, and it's so tough as they're into the CPI red zone with a big hitter. Now can they finish off and take the lead after Virginia seems to have had all the momentum early in this first quarter.
29th red zone possession in the CPI security red zone, and Taquan Marshall diving for the end zone. And let's see, no, they mark him short. So a big play by Jalen Camp, and it's 2nd and goal.
Good job by getting low. Looked like hand back there at the nose spot that hit underneath Feeler, the center, and gosh, that's
boy.
If they're looking at it, he's not down in that shot. It's just that plane, the front of that line. Doesn't look like they'll stop it, so here we go, 2nd and goal.
And Marshall went right behind the center, Kenny Cooper there. And he's in. 13th rushing score of the year for Taquan Marshall. Comes after Jalen Camp's first ever reception, James.
First down looked good, and 2nd down was good. Look, guys are going up high. That's what you got to do as a linebacker. You got to meet them up high, but Marshall goes underneath all of them to punch it across. That really was a big drive, the big play, and then finishing it off for Georgia Tech, because Virginia finally came out and looked like they wanted to play some football here early in this one.
And the point after is good by the freshman Brenton King. So Georgia Tech goes in front of Marshall's 1-yard run. And the Jackets lead here in Charlottesville. Well, it's a sad day here in Charlottesville because one of the really legends of ACC and the University of Virginia passed away yesterday. Dr. John Risher was 107 years old. He would drive back and forth from his home in Lynchburg and sit in the seat right here and help with football stats. And he did it from 1963 to last fall. And a couple of years ago, James and I had the good fortune to spend some time with Dr. Risher. There he is greeting our Freddie Kiger from our Raycom Sports crew a couple of seasons ago. He became a Virginia fan 1919, saw his first Cavalier game from an apartment window overlooking Lambeth Field, played on the 31 team, and was the Cavaliers' oldest living football player. James, you know this. There are traditions, there are activities, there are chants, there are fight songs, there are all sorts of traditions in college football. There are also people that are traditions,
yes.
and John Risher was one of those at the University of Virginia.
And I'm so glad that 2 years ago we got to spend a lot of time with him here. Look at this, onside kick.
Jackets try to get to it, and it does not get 10 yards. So Georgia Tech saw something in the tape, tried to get an onside kick, but Brenton King couldn't get it to go 10 yards.
First down.
Just trying to change it up a little bit. Miami tried to pull one on Georgia Tech that they ran back for a touchdown earlier this year.
Benkirk cuts it loose, looking for Zacchaeus, who hauls it in near the 10. Olamide Zacchaeus continues to make big plays for the Cavaliers.
Get that man the football on the ground, through the air, whatever it takes. Here he is now. He's in the zone underneath, is just in the help coming over the top. If there was so much air under the football that I thought it was going to get knocked down by Griffin. but it was just a little too late. He gets there and a little bit caught back looking inside, lands Austin, and a nice throw by Benkert. Boy, did they ever need that.
Flag down, a little handoff or pitch, if you will, to Olamide Zaccheaus. And I think we've got penalty on Virginia.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Second time, James.
Yep.
Bronco Mendenhall knows the unforced errors have also been a problem the last 2 weeks in losses to BC and Pittsburgh.
Both of these teams, you talk to both of these head coaches, unforced errors, when you talk to Paul Johnson, mean line calls, who you're going to block. They've had trouble with that, and for that to happen the second time, when you got all the momentum, you're powering forward, a little 5 yards back the other way, can be costly.
Split back set. Benkert struggled with the snap, now trying to get away, moving to his right. Keyshawn Freeman pushed him out of bounds as he cut it loose.
I think he was out before he threw it.
Might be right. It looked like he had gotten around the 10-yard line before the ball got cut loose. We'll see. First quarter in the books in Charlottesville. Each team scored. Marshall a 1-yard run. Mejia a 36-yard field goal. 7-3 Georgia Tech. We go to quarter 2. Benkert talked about being aggressive yesterday, and well, he was pretty aggressive here, wasn't he?
Well, and he talked about, too, just taking that extra beat, taking it to the very edge so he can give his receivers a little bit more time to get open. Came back to bite him against Boston College. Remember, similar situation. He threw an interception, and that one got a little interesting. But third down and goal, nonetheless. The situations now, middle of the season, a couple weeks ago, it was all Jordan Ellis all the time, powering through in these short yardage situations. He's next to Benkert.
And he'll throw for the 10th time in this first half now, and off the hands of Zaccheaus, incomplete. Christian Campbell, the converted quarterback, was over there defending in the secondary.
Well, it was there. It was there for Zaccheaus, a nicely thrown ball. Again, the offensive line has done a good job in protecting Kurt. And Zaccheaus got to hang on to that one, wet conditions or not. The big play man's got to make big plays. And here's a chance. Now they're going to bring out the field goal unit to cut it to 1, but keeping them out of the end zone is something that Virginia specialized in defensively for so long this season.
23-yard try. Mejia hit earlier for Virginia's points, and he punches that one through. So field goals of 36 and 23 for the Cavaliers, and it's a 1-point lead for Georgia Tech. Now, the Jackets went to an onside kick, James, that gave Virginia the possession. Well, let's take a look at King's onside kick that didn't quite get 10 yards. Johnny Kerr sat there and watched it roll dead at 8. But it takes you back to our flashback from 2 years ago when we were here. Virginia had a 27-14 lead. Justin Thomas cranked it up. Clinton Lynch a catch at the back pylon. And what did Georgia Tech do?
Right there, onside kick. This one did go the 10 yards.
But Quinn Blanding snuffed out the final Georgia Tech threat when he batted that one away. And Paul Johnson knows all too well how the struggle in Charlottesville for Georgia Tech through the years has been real.
Well, his defensive coordinator, Paul Johnson, here today, Ted Roof, his defense opening kickoff, gave the short field for Virginia to go. They hold them to a field goal, and again, after that missed opportunity onside kick, they hold them to a field goal. So stiffening when they need to.
Here's Cottrell. And Nathan Cottrell to the 22-yard line. Marshall straight ahead, and that is Benson for a couple of yards. Maybe 3 for Kervonte Benson. And Virginia using John Curvin, little used defensive tackle, along with Eli Handback in there to make the play. Big 98 and 58 involved.
Eli had to gain some weight, fill out that 58 jersey just so they could run what Bronco wanted to be a 3-man front, holding it down there in the middle, and Benson lost a shoe, had to come out.
Here comes Marshall. There's the pitch on the perimeter, and Clinton Lynch gets banged out of bounds for no gain. Boy, it's been a struggle for Clinton Lynch. Just 5 for 71, his best game of the year at Miami so far.
And it's been a struggle for Georgia Tech trying to get outside. Virginia again does a good job of stretching it out, running them out to the sidelines, forcing here a big 3rd down and long. For a quarterback that's had 1 completion, yeah, it was a big one, but he's been running for his life every other time he's dropped back to throw.
Georgia Tech 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Marshall, draw, trying to find a seam. Taquan Marshall to the far side, 1st down. What, now you see me, now you don't, James?
Hey, if I'm going to be running, let's go ahead and make it a design quarterback run play. Let's not mess around. Boom. He's going to stick his foot in the ground and go and get in that traffic, and a lot of wiggle to him, making a few guys miss and giving it all he had. You go back to that first game of the year in Atlanta in the close loss to Tennessee, a game they felt like they should have won. And how many times did we see Marshall, you know, the first time running the show, really do them an exceptional job at just that. That's a big 1st down pickup here to get a fresh set of downs and keep it rolling.
Here he is trying to keep it again, and Andrew Brown blows it up inside. Again, number 9 is a problem for Georgia Tech in that front. Paul Johnson identified it earlier in the week. Dante Wilkins was a problem last year, the nose, and it looks like Handback has joined Brown in stifling the dive game, James.
Well, this is a Georgia Tech team. Last Saturday night in Death Valley, they played against a team that had 5 or 6 guys that will play in the NFL, will be drafted into the NFL. Here are a couple guys right now that are just continuing on the domination up front, getting penetration, using their hands and just stalemating these offensive linemen who don't have an answer for it so far.
Here comes Marshall. Devine out in front. Taquan going to pitch, and J.J. Green runs out of room. In fact, may have run to a loss. We'll see where they spot the football, but it might be 3rd in the full 10 here.
Chris Peace does a good job of keeping his feet, not getting cut. He stays outside. Big offensive lineman coming at him, tries to cut him. He's not having it, helps to stretch it. An extra body there to not give a chance to the back to cut it up.
This is a slot look in Paul Johnson's spread option. Marshall wants to throw. Cuts it loose. Ricky June downfield. Cannot make the play. Thornhill and Blanding were there for Virginia. Marshall about had to drop that one in a bucket, James.
He really did. Thornhill again got turned around a little bit, but he just continues to fight. Doesn't give up on it. He's going to find his way back into position, and the heat was on. Brown's going to put pressure on. Kaiser late, and you're going to see him turn inside. See the space? Talk about the space. Don't let that space in between. You got to keep that body on body, and that's why you want to rip that head around the other way. But he's able to recover and strip it away. A nice job by Thornhill. They're glad to have him healthy and back.
Presley Harvin tried to flip it over toward Daniel Ham again, and a running catch near the 17 for the Cavaliers. That's Zacchaeus for about 3 yards. And, well, Rocky Long kind of at the knee with Bronco Mendenhall. And, boy, he's got this group tuned up today, doesn't he?
Well, and he knows. Rocky Long will tell you, Bronco Mendenhall, any defensive coach will tell you, if you can stretch it, if you can make them run sideline to sideline, that's where you've got them. And so far, Broncos team has done just that. They've come prepared. They've been in position and played disciplined football here defensively so far today.
Now a catch by Cowley. The big B-back, if you will, rolls it out into the near side, and a 1st down for Virginia up near the 30-yard line.
Well, that has to feel good. Ben Kurt told us yesterday, gosh, I've got to complete a couple of my first passes just to get into a rhythm. I feel so much better when I play a game and I have a good start. He had a good start. He had an early completion or two. And then it was drop after drop after drop after drop. And let's see if that Cowley catch for a 1st down can get him back into this rhythm here with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Fresh set of downs for the Cavaliers. Jordan Ellis trying to get something going on the ground. Alexander and Henri St. Amour wrapped him up after a couple of yards. It's kind of been a Been a little bit of a walking battle with the lines here today. Virginia's has been playing in Georgia Tech's backfield. Meanwhile, the Jackets, after the early salvo by Ellis, they've kind of stifled the Cavalier run game.
Well, and it's not just option football. You stretch it and make him go outside. It's any kind of football. And you see it with Jordan Ellis there. Where has he really done his damage this year? When he gets a full head of steam and he's hitting that head on, they make him turn his shoulders there.
Ben Kurt. And dropped it in the middle of the field, and Zacchaeus got hit as soon as he caught it. And now we get a flag in the backfield, and this might be a late hit on Georgia Tech.
Well, and a low hit is, remember the low hit penalty to try to protect those legs, maybe.
Or is it against Virginia?
Holding, offense, number 16. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Richard Burney, the second tight end. There's Burney, a sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia. He had the TD catch last week at Pitt. Fourth on the Cavaliers. And that's what you were talking about. Bronco Mendenhall frustrated by the unforced errors as well as anything in the last 2 weeks. 4.5 to go in the frame. Ben Kurt cuts it loose and dropped. And that was Burney again. Well, James.
Well, as Burney rips his gloves off and goes and hands them to the sidelines, here's a replay that he won't want to see, and I'm telling you, it's contagious. A couple sure-handed guys like Dowling miss a catch that they always catch, rain or shine. It gets contagious. They got to block it out, and they've got to regroup on that front because it's going to be wet all day long. Too many opportunities. They catch all these footballs, and it's a different story right now.
Ben Kurt, Zacchaeus, and Alameda fumbled the ball, but gets back on it, or does he? No, Georgia Tech says they have it at the 14-yard line. Wow. Out of there with it comes the freshman Bruce Jordan Swilling.
Well, Swilling has to start at that middle linebacker spot for Mitchell, who stayed back in Atlanta. Zacchaeus finally holds on to one after dropping 2 in a row. Ball stripped away. And a great job. That's how you make those plays, being around the ball. Was it Swilling that caused the fumble to begin with, too? He forced the fumble, pops up off the ground, and goes and makes a play. Heck of a job by Swilling, the tailback back in high school. Never played linebacker until college.
Devontae Benson running behind right guard for 3. And we go under 4 minutes to play now in this first half. Micah Kaiser comes hobbling off now. Virginia going to run C.J. Stalker on to replace the veteran Kaiser. Well, you talk about a guy who's a finalist not only for the Campbell Trophy, which is the academic Heisman presented by the National Football Foundation, just the guy who has been such a leader all over the field.
Oh, they've leaned on him heavily on special teams as well. Hope he's okay.
Here's Marshall. Will keep it. And stretches it out inside the 10. Goes to Quan Marshall. So all of a sudden it's quickly 3rd down for Georgia Tech. Virginia's turnover, James, their 9th of the year, but just their 2nd fumble. Cavaliers came in +3 in the takeaway giveaway.
Remember, Georgia Tech, there's a look over on the sidelines. It's Swilling, the young pup, Pat Swilling's son. Only tailback, and a pretty good one in high school. Only linebacker he played at the prep level was in an all-star game. But that's what he told these Georgia Tech coaches, that he wanted to be on the defensive side of the ball. They're glad he's a linebacker right now.
Fake the toss to Green. Marshall trying to get to the edge. To Quan will have it. Did he get in? No, but it's 1st and goal Georgia Tech as we go under 3 minutes to play. Boy, you were right about that, Batesy. Leave it in 16's hands, and he got a nice block from Camp.
Right about leaving it in his hands, but wrong about getting outside. Finally, he got the edge, and it looks like it's the same guy that had the nice catch earlier in Camp that helped to set that edge with the block on the defensive end. So his guys step up with the blocking, and it's just enough for Marshall. And how about this? It's a Virginia team that just failed to capitalize on any momentum with all the drops, and Georgia Tech trying to pad that lead now.
Devontae Benson dives in for the score, his 6th rushing score of the year, And Georgia Tech pushes into a 7-point margin with 2:31 to play.
There you see the low bodies. They're so used to that there. The kids from Atlanta getting low and, 18 inches. Win that battle and push them back and give us 18 inches every single time is what they're shooting for. Not afraid to get dirty. They get the low pad level and they get the easy touchdown for their back, the senior Benson.
And the point after is good by Brenton King. 2:31 to go now first half, and it's an 8-point Georgia Tech lead. Here's Reed now, the return to kick for Virginia. And Joe Reed, who had a 58-yarder, now breaks free. Reed headed to the far side. King will give chase, and Joe Reed will score for Virginia. A 92-yard kickoff return for Joe Reed. And just like that, the Cavaliers are right back in this thing.
They have them bottled up. Everybody's in their lane, and then everybody gives up. Who's going to drop them? You got to finish. You got to finish. He comes squirting out of there. A couple bodies on the ground. And Joe Reed, who had the great big return against Pittsburgh last week, nothing to show for it, had a great return to open this game here today. A field goal to show for it. Said, hey, you want to get into the paint? Leave it up to me. And he puts him on his back, and he outruns everybody to the corner of the end zone, refusing to go down.
And now the teams will go to the locker room. Oh. Well, details driven into this first half. Virginia trails Georgia Tech a point, 14-13. Stay tuned. Our Hardee's ACC halftime report from Charlottesville coming up next. 1-point lead for Georgia Tech, 14-13. We welcome you back to Scott Stadium in Charlottesville on a very soggy but very important Saturday of ACC football. And a 1-point lead for Georgia Tech. They're going to get the ball to start the second half. And, well, here's a look at these first half stats. We told you about the rushing yardage, and just look at the total yardage per play, James. The weather, but also the miscues in this opening 30.
Absolutely. 3 3-and-outs apiece. And, one thing that Paul Johnson, I found very interesting, he was talking about it on his radio show this week, that if he had his druthers, every time he likes to defer and receive the kick to start the second half, because at that point, it's always that, how are they going to play me? How are we going to have a little bit of success? But the question is, how did he draw it up? You saw the frustration with his offensive line there before halftime. Are they going to make the calls? Really been a frustrating first half for his offense running that option, unable to get much going at all on the ground. Let's see what they come out with here to start the second half.
Cottrell on the near side at the goal line. Trying to get to the far side, shoots through at the 20 and got hit about the 21-yard line. And Joey Blunt, a backup in the secondary, handles it for Virginia. So there's where Georgia Tech gets cranked up, and Jaquan Marshall at the controls.
Well, Marshall and company on the ground is where Marshall has done the damage. And Devontae Benson, who had 129 yards against Clemson on the ground, has been shut down, but Marshall has been a little bit better, tucking it and going a couple third down pickups. There you saw the big 49-yard completion to Camp to set up the touchdown. And let's see what they get going here to start this third quarter.
Here comes Marshall on the keeper, riding a block, and now Jaquan Marshall into the secondary and down the sideline. A big play against Wake Forest 2 weeks ago, and an explosion play now starts the third quarter for Marshall.
.69 combined yards on the ground for this powerful rushing attack of Georgia Tech in the entire first half. And right like that, the first play from scrimmage, how's that for figuring out what we need to do? There was patience there from Paul Johnson's quarterback. The big bodies got out there and led the way, and good blocking down the field and striking hard and striking first in this second half. Key to the game for Georgia Tech. Well, it certainly comes coming out of that halftime locker room. Watch these big bodies. Watch the big guys get up and go. It's a thing of beauty the way those offensive linemen can get up and move. Also beautiful down the field. Ricky June blocking his guy about 25 yards down the field. And Marshall goes untouched into the end zone. Kaiser's going to get cut, doesn't go down to the ground, but he comes underneath. You got to go back over the top and adjust those angles. Yeah, you're going to drop him for 25-yard gain, but still, you don't let him get that big hitter, and it's off to the races for a guy that can definitely scoop when he's out in the open field.
14 rushing touchdowns for Taquan Marshall. That's his longest run of the year. James, he had a showstopper and closer 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest of like 70 and 76. Boy, that one right there does a lot of good for the guys in the gold helmets. And here's Joe Reed, who's been spectacular, looking for room, and he'll be pulled down at the 25. And a Johnny Kerr, the backup at the corner, freshman from McEachern High School, handles that. Intercepted by Bruce Jordan Swilling. A flag is down, and he scores. We'll see if the pick six stands. There's a marker down at the 18-yard line. Benkert has thrown a pick six to the freshman Bruce Jordan Swilling.
The penalty is declined. Result of play is a touchdown.
So Virginia has seen Georgia Tech score 2 touchdowns in 2 snaps.
Benkert has done such a good job throughout this game. Here he's got his eyes on Zacchaeus the entire time, and Swilling, the former stud tailback in high school, knows exactly what to do with it when he gets his paws on the football. He knows how to find that paint. Not bad for a backup linebacker with Mitchell staying home in Atlanta, huh?
Wow. What a legacy. So Bruce Jordan Swilling, the son of the former jacket great Pat Swilling, a pick six. And it's a 15-point game. Well, they started playing this series November of 1965. Bobby Dodd coached the Jackets. George Blackburn coached the Cavaliers. And there have been unbelievable Jackets and Wahoos through the years. And Bruce Jordan Swilling just put his name in the Georgia Tech-Virginia rivalry record book. A 27-yard interception return for a touchdown. Georgia Tech scored 2 touchdowns in 15 seconds here, James. 1 on each side of the ball. And they're just going to hang this up, and here on the near side, they're not going to kick it to Reed, and Daniel Ham stepped out of bounds. Boy, Jordan Ellis going nowhere against Georgia Tech's front. Henri St. Amour crashed in there. Also, Brentavious Glenn, a redshirt sophomore they're excited about, big 97. Benkert right back on it. 2nd and 10. And Zacchaeus the catch, and Lawrence Austin the tackle. James, I guess the thing about Georgia Tech's pass coverage is this. The catch might be made, but there's no gravy being poured on top of the catch. You know, there's no
yeah.
no run after catch.
You're absolutely right, and bringing the load too. And Zacchaeus now back-to-back catches, and like we said, the drops there in the first half seem to be contagious. Let's hope, if you're a Virginia fan, that the catches are contagious.
Here is Zacchaeus out in the flat. That'll be close to a first down. Lawrence Austin ran him into the Virginia bench. And let's check on Rebecca.
Well,
with
guys,
12 and a half to go in the third.
Olamide Zacchaeus is really like a new player this year. He dealt with all kinds of just little injuries last year, and he realized it was because he wasn't hydrating enough. So if you notice, every time he gets to the sideline, he takes a sip of water. He's never felt better.
Yeah, it's kind of been a brand new year for Zacchaeus.
Great protection from the offensive line here to start the second half for their quarterback, and here comes Ellis.
Yeah, Jordan Ellis goes for 9 on first down to the 33-yard line. One of his better runs of the day. Victor Alexander, Antoine Owens the stop for Georgia Tech.
Feeding the big man. Look at the guys get up to the second level. Swilling is taken care of, and Jordan Ellis, boom. Nice. There's how you win first down. Nice pickup. Now go to the air.
Lavroni looking deep. Benkert the throw and the catch. Andre Lavroni's 5th touchdown catch of the year.
6'3", he's coming right at you. Christian Campbell trying to hand fight, put the hands, get those hands off of me. He does an excellent job of raking those hands away, focusing the whole way on that ball, cradling it in. And how about that for a few catches for a receiving corps that was having all kinds of trouble in the first half, holding on to the football. The rain stops, but the passes don't stop at all. They keep on coming, and it's a big-time answer after the 1-2 punch Georgia Tech dealt coming out of the halftime locker room. An 8-point difference now with a whole lot of ball left to be played.
Like a brand new half. It's like a brand new ball game, James, compared to what we saw in the first half, right?
Brand new season.
I mean, 3 touchdowns in basically 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Here's the kick for Cottrell. Nathan Cottrell eludes a man, and toward the 28 he'll go. Joe Reed, who ran a kickback in the first half for a touchdown, is the first Cavalier to meet him. And away we go.
Let's take a look at this touchdown. You're going to see the corner blitz. Simmons is going to come off the edge. Watch the job that Jordan Ellis does of picking up this blitzer. Campbell's going to replace, and he's in coverage. He knows his assignment, but it's just up against the big 6'3" Lavroni. Lavroni stronger, rips those hands away. It's a perfectly thrown ball by Kurt Benkert, who really has had a good football game here, even though his numbers don't show it. Quite a few drops, but that hasn't been the case here in the second half.
Just Georgia Tech's second offensive snap of the half here. And Taquan Marshall keeps it, and he gets a yard.
Guys, if you would, open up Rebecca's mic, because, Rebecca, I know that you spent a lot of time talking with these players from Virginia here this week, and one thing that they were disappointed in themselves was early in that Pittsburgh game, they got 3 and out early, and they just walked off the field. There was no energy, was there?
No, there was no energy, and this is a total 180 here this afternoon. These guys, they're not sitting down. They've just been standing up the entire game, bouncing up and down, trying to get the fans involved. It looks like they're having more fun, and that's kind of the point, right?
I'd like to think so. We've had plenty of offense here lately.
Marshall the shot. Searcy intercepted. Picked off by Quinn Blanding. The 9th career interception for Virginia's Blanding, the third of the year. And that's Georgia Tech's first interception of the year.
Here you go, saved by the bell, Bayside High School. Marshall just throws it up there. Blanding playing in center field. An interception against Pitt last week, trying to get his guys back into the game, and here he puts it right back in the offense's hands. We always talk to Blanding, and I can never get tired of talking to Quinn Blanding. Kid loves football, and he loves his teammates, and trying to do everything he can to get them pumped. And he certainly helps them out here, and then you add on the personal foul afterwards. That'll help as well. And now let's see if Virginia can continue to put the hammer down here.
Here is Sharp. Thought about throwing it, and Chris Sharp will be tackled in front of the Virginia bench, but I think he slid upfield for a couple to the 28. Got 2, did Sharp. James, it looked like that might be a pass when he first took the pitch from Benkert. Former defensive player, converted from that side to the running back position in the fall. Some kind of third quarter unfolding in Charlottesville. Benkert going to take the shot. Dowling is there. Flag down. Caught. Touchdown, Virginia. And what a throw and catch this is. Benkert to Donnie Dowling if it stands.
Defense, number 17. That penalty is declined. His over play is a touchdown.
How about the Cavaliers coming to answer now?
They try to come at Benkert. Great protection up front, giving their quarterback time. And in man coverage, another big body. We saw Lavroni earlier, and this time it's to the big-bodied Donnie Dowling. About 6'2", 220 pounds. And just out-muscles for that football. And now these guys are focusing on that ball, pulling it in, and here they'll try to tie it up. At 28, down 2. Remember, you've got a quarterback. Very dangerous when he gets in trouble, tucking it and going.
Zacchaeus caught it. The game is tied on the two-point play. Well, the Cavaliers and Yellow Jackets have played some bizarre ball games in their history. And we have settled into one here in the third period, James. 4 touchdowns in less than 5 minutes of the third quarter.
Kurt Benkert has gone from just the last couple weeks just feeling sorry for him to looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. And, man, has he been putting this ball on the money time and time again.
Cottrell off the goal line. And Nathan Cottrell trying to break free, gets to about the 23. And now Benson breaks through for about 9 on first down. Georgia Tech doing a much better job on first down in this half, James, as we check with Rebecca.
You guys, talking to Kervonte Benson is always interesting. A few weeks ago, I talked to him. He said he brings the hype and the physicality. And then this week, I talked to him. He said, I'm going to be so physical this week. I told my linemen in my offense, the only way I get off the field is if they take me off the field.
Well, Benson's going to take a break. And here is Jerry Howard, the big freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina, on the carry. And Howard will get the first down. Now, this young man, James, we saw him go 82 yards on 6 carries against Jacksonville State. And progressively, as the season has moved along, this guy has gotten more and more playing time for Paul Johnson's offense.
Well, and the senior Benson hasn't wanted to share too much. He's having a good time in there when he gets lathered up and gets rolling. But he's got to take a breather right now. And how about that? I'm telling Rebecca, I'm going to be more physical than ever this week. I'm going to be so physical that I'm going to listen to Olivia Newton-John in pregame. That's pretty physical.
1st and 10 at the 37. Howard will get it again. And that's a 3-yard run for Jerry Howard. He's a 6-foot, 215-pound rookie, true freshman from Rock Hill, South Carolina. And Jordan Mack tagged him there, sophomore from Lithonia, whose dad played football at Georgia Tech.
Well, and the same build as Benson. You know, that's the kind of back you like, those tree stumps, as Paul Johnson called them. They're at the B back, and the guys that are quick, the guys that are powerful, are going to get it right now. You don't need those big leaners. You want the guys that are low to the ground and can even hide in there in all that traffic.
Counter play, Marshall. And Taquan will stretch to the 43. It'll leave Georgia Tech about 4 yards.
Similar play as the touchdown that Georgia Tech scored to start the second half. The counter and the quarterback keep with the 2 big bodies leading the way. He gets a few and enough to make it a 3rd down and 4 here for Paul Johnson and his offense. Remember, I'm sorry, Wes, the previous 2 3rd downs in this situation, they've gone with the follow by Marshall.
Right. 10th play of the drive here. All run plays in this possession. Marshall wants to throw. Overshoots the intended receiver, and that was J.J. Green, who got knocked down by Blanding. So 10 plays. They do move it off their own 2, James, and Presley Harvin will punt.
Just too high for him. Blanding's got to be careful. He took a couple steps, and what could be ruled as a defenseless player, and he goes up high. It didn't look like he got him in the shoulder pad, but still, you got to be careful and you got to be smarter. You hate to cost your team just when you think you're going to get off the field.
Harvin end over end for Ham, and a fair catch made near the 17-yard line. So still a tie game. Minute 8 to play. Virginia starts just ahead of the 17 with Benkert trying to slip it inside. And Joe Reed, who had a kick return for a score in the first half, picks up 9 on first down to the 26.
You know, a lot of people, Virginia fans, Virginia coaches even will tell you, we've got to get the ball in Zacchaeus' hands 10 times. He's our playmaker. He's our big-time electric guy. I think Reed is the same way. My goodness, every time Reed gets his hands on the ball, you hold your breath. He just runs with a lot of passion, and he's got the speed to go, as he showed us earlier on the big kick return.
Little delay here, and Jordan Ellis gives back to maybe 3 yards on the play. Bruce Jordan swilling the stop for the Yellow Jackets. And all of a sudden, it's third down and about 4 here, maybe a little more.
Good job by that defense is sniffing out that draw play. They're going to take it into 4. Boy, do we have a smash mouth football game here. 1 more quarter to go.
Boy, tell the truth. 40th meeting all time with Georgia Tech and Virginia. Starting to find the same storylines that some previous ones have in the last 2 decades and change. Tight fit when we go to the final 15 in Charlottesville. Right after you see this. Well, we had 29 points, 249 combined yards in the third period. In the first half, we only had 27 points and 290 yards between the two teams. And we start the fourth with Kurt Benkert in a third down play here. Alexander on the blitz, and Campbell batted down a ball intended for Dowling. And Virginia will have to punt.
Lucky to come out with that punt. Campbell was all over it, got 1 paw on it. A little bit softer throw, and he's out to the gate. That's playing with fire. Good read by Campbell, being on it, knowing where they're going, those sticks, and force the punt here to start the 4th quarter.
Coleman for Brad Stewart. And it is hammered by Lester Coleman. Stewart going to let it hit, and it'll jump out of bounds near the 10. Coleman's longest punt of the year is 63 in the opener against William and Mary. And they're going to run this one out of bounds, I think, down near the 13-yard line. And here's Taquan Marshall. Looking to throw on first down. No, he'll keep it on the perimeter. And squeeze off a step or 2 over near the Georgia Tech bench.
Good job by Peace to fight, stay outside. I think he even got cut, went down to the ground, bounced right back up. You can't make plays on the ground. And he got cut, but he hustled. There's been so much hustle on this defensive side of the ball here for Virginia. And again, it's a 2-yard gain, yeah, but he fought to get up and set that edge and get some help. What could have been a big hitter.
Base look. They went to Benson, and boy, Alonzo crashed down. Big 91 got in there along with Handback. And it's third down now, Rebecca.
Guys, whoever finishes this game strong is prepared to do so mentally. And that's probably Virginia's strength because of their coach. Bronco Mendenhall has a library in his office with 10 shelves full of books. He helps his players with self-discovery by selecting a book with an answer they're seeking when they do come in with problems. He wants his guys to invest in their own learning.
Third down. Marshall wants to throw, in trouble, dances and gets tripped up. And Andrew Brown and Eli Handback wreaked havoc in the backfield.
Chris Peace back there as well. Nice series for Peace. Vic Soto, assistant coach there, slapping him on the back. They come with the pressure. It's been such an adventure for Marshall dropping back to throw. Too many sacks here this season. And they get to him and send him back the other way. And again, Ham standing at midfield, a chance to return.
Presley Harvin, wobbly kick toward Ham. And he'll get knocked back after he made a catch of it. But it's in Georgia Tech territory at about the 43-yard line. So 2 minutes gone here in the 4th. And Benkert in the gun, 3rd and 10. Georgia Tech trying to get there. Shoots it across the middle. Is Buddy Dowling on the back end, and a big catch for the Cavaliers. 1st and 10 at the Georgia Tech 22.5.
He can't do it if it doesn't have time to develop, to come across that zone. Right at the sticks, Dowling, and a good job again by the guys up front. Plenty of time for Benkert. Lets it develop and fires it in there. He's had his struggles throughout the year, but here the confidence is standing in there tall on the outside as Dowling's going to cut it off. Nice throw. Nice job by Dowling to look it in and secure it. And Virginia is moving now with 12:30 left to go, and Swilling's banged up. And remember, he's the backup to Mitchell, who didn't even make the trip.
So Tyler Cooksey, another legacy. His dad, Tom Cooksey, a player in the late 70s at Georgia Tech, comes in. There are a handful of those legacy guys on this roster. Jordan Swilling, we told you about. Tyler Cooksey. Bailey Alvermeyer's a backup in the offensive line. His dad, a former player at Georgia Tech as well. Benkert, 1st and 10. Here's Ellis. Jordan Ellis lowering the boom to the 15. Well, he ran into Lawrence Austin. That's a pretty good collision right there.
If there's one defense in the country that knows about that edge, knows about that corner, it's this one. They go in those battles every day in practice with their own guys. Well, Virginia gets out there, and Virginia wins the edge. The big bodies pulling, driving them off the ball, and is finally big contact at the very end. But the damage is done. An 8-yard gain for Ellis on the outside, and Austin a little bit slow there, maybe seeing a few stars as he's trying to recover here for this 2nd down play.
Well, no kid, Butts, the tight end, flexes out with Cowley and Dubois to the left. And now Benkert back inside. Dowling dropped it. Right in front of Simmons and Alexander with Corey Griffin lurking. And Donnie Dowling might have had a touchdown there on the slant, James.
I think he does. And I mean, this is an offense that's really starting to roll now, and the drops coming back around, and too many of them here today, or it may be a lopsided score up there. The way that they've had open receivers, and Benkert has been able to find them. So now you've got a 3rd down and 2.
Run it here.
Well, you've had so much success with Ellis, but
snaps low. Benkert. I don't think he'll get there, James. The snap coming back from the center, Feeler, was right around the shoe tops, and Virginia's going to ask Mejia to try and cover the rest of this. So 2 errors on the Cavaliers. A drop by Dowling and a poor snap by Feeler.
Well, and Benkert does a good job to just get it and go. It was going to be a handoff to Ellis, and Benkert at least getting back up there to the line of scrimmage. Georgia Tech waiting on him though.
33-yard try to give Virginia the lead. A.J. Mejia. And it squeezes through. Well, it wouldn't have won a beauty contest, but it's good enough to put Virginia back in front. Under 11 to go at Scott Stadium. Virginia in front by a 3 after the Mejia field goal. By the way, his 3rd of the day, 36-23 and 33 a moment ago. And Delaney's kick for Cottrell at the 2. Cottrell trying to get to the edge, and does. Nathan Cottrell knocked out of bounds past the 30. Tech off its 31. Here's Marshall looking to throw on 1st down. DeQuan going to cut it loose for Searcy. And it's intercepted. Britton Nelson over the top with his 4th interception of the year. Bang, bang, play at the ball. And the 2nd pick of the day for the Cavaliers.
Searcy all to his lonesome down the middle of the field, and just too much air under that wobbler, but just enough air for Vincent to make his break. Here he is. Watch him now as he's going to come across and break on this ball and just go all out, diving for that football. Not content with batting it down. He wants it back in the hands of his offense. What a big play defensively for the Who's after they take the 3-point lead.
Off the 32-yard line, and Jordan Ellis kicks the ground game for 7 yards. Now this is where Ellis and Virginia, when Carolina kind of threatened 3 weeks ago in Chapel Hill, this is when Virginia started winning the ball game on the ground.
Partner, that's just what I was about to say. Hey, here comes Ellis out of the game, but they've got more guys that can do that. They did it back-to-back weeks when they needed it against Duke in the 4th quarter. They did it when they needed it, as you mentioned, in Chapel Hill as well. Here they go empty, so I guess that answers our question off the top anyway. Now Zacchaeus will join Benkert.
And that's Reed in motion. Play fake. They're going to flip it to Reed. Georgia Tech trying to get there. Antonio Simmons leads the parade, the senior from Jacksonville. Now it'll be 3rd down.
See, that's where it just really it seemed like, wow, this is becoming a physical football team now that they can just run at will. They can chip away. And how demoralizing for a defense if they keep Jordan Ellis in there and they pound it at him one more time. I mean, eventually, when you can run at will on a football team and chip away and get 1st downs, well, you talk about grabbing hold of the momentum here. A lot of time left, though.
Ellis back in the ball game. Benkert wants to throw here, too. Looks, going to shoot it down the field, and incomplete, intended for Reed with Lawrence Austin defending. So after Ellis got him 8 on first down, James, 2 incompletions, a 3 and out for Virginia, their first of the half, and fourth of the ball game.
Looked like they had him on their heels, and Austin even there was playing catch up and snaps his head around at the last second, or it may have been a flag thrown. But he plays the football, knocks it down, and a nice 3 and out to Georgia Tech.
Another good one by Coleman. Stewart will let it hit. Look at the fake check up again.
Stop. That dude, that's MVP right there, man. How is there a punter? How is there a punter in the nation?
I don't know, but if he's a golfer,
Coleman.
he's got the best wedge game on the planet.
I'm going to start wearing one fluorescent shoe. Can I do that?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Virginia leads by 3 here in Charlottesville. Georgia Tech starting off its 3. Fumbled by Marshall and knocked down in the end zone for the safety. Tried to go to Benson, and I think Jordan Mack is the guy who will get credit for the safety. And now a 5-point game.
Jordan Mack back there in a hurry. It was going to be ugly even without the fumble. And here's a bench that was dancing during that break to Quiet Riot's Come On Feel the Noise, and they're feeling it right now, trying to get win number 6 after a little bit of a lull. They're the energy lacking the last couple weeks. Boy, are they feeling it, having a good time here this afternoon.
Presley Harvin to punt it. And it's a good one. Ham at the 22. And Daniel Ham past the 40. And they'll mark the 43. So it's a 21-yard return. Jalen Johnson. For their ball game on September 16th against Central Florida was canceled, and Orlando never rescheduled. Virginia now needs 1 for bowl eligibility.
Look down here at the bottom. It's a tough road for both of these teams the rest of the way. And second in the ACC for Georgia Tech. First for Virginia when it comes to toughness, just to finish up here this regular season.
8.5 to go. Ellis in the backfield with Benkert. Cavaliers want to throw, and that is Lavroni to the 49. Gain of 6 on first down, 2nd and 4.
Well, showing you the confidence here in Benkert. The last series out, they get 8 yards from Ellis on first down, thinking maybe they'll go right back to the ground, but still just letting him sling it out there. And a nice pickup on first down. Starting to win those first down battles.
Benkert over 200 yards on the completion. 17 of 38 today. 2 touchdowns, interception. Wow, look at that. Desmond Branch, younger brother of Alan Branch, the great Michigan Wolverine, pulls down Zacchaeus there.
What penetration. He's there now. There's nobody there for him. It's, you know, that's not backside left alone and hoping that he can't run him down. That's miscommunication, and absolutely nobody there for Big 99 and going the wrong way. Now Georgia Tech, find those chains. Find that spot where they're trying to run those routes. You've got Dowling up top here. And last time this situation, this is where they went.
Here's Benkert buying time, and he'll just throw it out of bounds, and Virginia goes 3 and out.
Well, just keeping it interesting for us, aren't they? I mean, just when you think one of these teams, even Georgia Tech here in the second half, they come out and they score boom, boom, 2 touchdowns on 2 plays, and think, oh gosh, Georgia Tech's going to run away with it. They're going to eat it up in the second half. That hasn't been the case. Virginia not going away, and now Virginia a chance to milk it. But
here's your man Lester Coleman.
Is that shoe I want?
Now the fluorescent right shoe of Lester Coleman. He got that away. Stewart is going to let that check up, and it will at the 10. So Lester Coleman, he of the fluorescent shoe. Is that what you're looking for next week on the road?
I think so.
Yeah. 5-point lead for the Wahoos. Back to Charlottesville in a moment. And here's Georgia Tech, whose average field position starting a drive in the second half has been their own 15, off their 10. Down 5, and Kervonte Benson to work. And he'll get about 3 on first down. Okay, let's look at this from a time and space spot. Under 7 minutes after Benson got 3 there on first down. Paul Johnson's got all 3 timeouts, as does Bronco Mendenhall. It's a 5-point game here, James. Is this the possession for Georgia Tech?
Well, not necessarily, but it can be. It can be if they can get it rolling. And if we're still in the first half, I would say no. But in the second half, they've shown that they can piece together this offense the way they want it to click. Let's see if they can move the chains here. And they go back to the air.
Marshall going to take the shot for Ricky June and threw it just beyond his reach. He had gotten a step on Thornhill. So now it is 3rd down and 7.
And here's the pressure again. A little bit less time, but Andrew Brown gets in there late, gives him a little bit of a shot.
Tech is 0 for 5 throwing the football here in the second half.
3 completions in the first half for Marshall, one being that big 49-yarder to Camp. Here they need 7.
That's Mack, the linebacker, crawling up in the gap. Marshall looking to throw again, squeezes out of the pocket, gets away from Brown. Up the far side, and a first down. Got beyond the 20 and got knocked out of bounds at the Georgia Tech 21-yard line to Taquan Marshall. Boy, he's tough, James.
Oh, he is. They've got him. Good coverage down the field. They've got him bottled up, runs through the big, strong hands. And look at the blocking down the field. Knowing what it's turned into now. Here comes Kaiser over, trying to drop him and save the day. But Marshall, again, finding a way to slither his way to those sticks and move those chains when they need him the most. And I thought Brown was going to drop him. I thought it was over and the punting unit was going to come out, but instead it's a first down.
And here's Benson cutting off Devine's block. And he picks up about 5 on first down. Saw big Shamir Devine. You can't miss him. 6'7", 380-pound redshirt senior from Atlanta.
Paul Johnson likes to do that play-action pass on second down. He doesn't like to wait till 3rd down. He did it last time. They missed June on the big hitter. Then they've got themselves in a 3rd down and 7. And I think you got to go right back here. Just go right back to the ground and try to chip away. Give yourself a 3rd down and 1, 3rd down and 2, as opposed to a 3rd down and long.
And Marshall looking to throw. Going to tee it up for Ricky June, who makes the catch. June down the far sideline into Virginia territory at the 43. Juan Thornhill finally pulled him down. And the first completion of the second half goes 35 yards.
And that'll work. Thornhill falls down. Coming out of the break there, you see he's going to slip. And June doing a good job of what should have been an easy catch, making a tough grab, getting his feet down, staying in bounds. And now up across the 50-yard line with under 5 minutes to go.
Yep, 1st and 10, first catch of the day for Ricky June. Here goes Benson, plugging along. He'll get 4 to the 40. Clock is under 5 minutes to go. Well, defensive mastermind Bronco Mendenhall, offensive catalyst Paul Johnson. 2 guys who we had a clip at the top of the show today, laughing out there in the pregame. Now all of a sudden drawing plays up.
So the last 2 3rd downs after a nice gain on first, they've gone play action pass. Let's see if they try to change it up and stay on the ground here now.
Benson. And it'll be 3rd and about 3, James. Ball at the 37. And as you noted in the first half, Paul Johnson not scared at all to go 4 downs if he has to.
Oh, no, especially right here.
All right, now here's the 3rd and 3, and as you noted, passes on the last 2 3rd downs.
But also, where they've had success on a 3rd down and short, 3rd down and medium is Marshall with the keeper on the quarterback follow.
Here's Taquan, cuts it back, first down. Broke the plane of the 34 to the 33.
And that That's been the play. That's been where the bread and butter on the 3rd down when they really need it, and a good job winning the battles up front. There's Braun standing his guy up in the vision. You talk about these backs having great vision all the time. How about just the feel for what's going on in front of them, knowing that it's washed down? If I put my foot in the dirt right now, Marshall thinks I can cut it back, move those chains, and he does it. And now they're just taking their time, let it chew away. What a football game. This has been one of the craziest football games we've had in the last few years.
Yep.
Made it interesting and fun, though.
Well, nothing in the first half of substance except the Reed kick return, right? 92 yards after a 1-yard run by Benson. And now all of a sudden, 1st and 10, Georgia Tech, Virginia 33. And here's Marshall looking to throw. Down the seam, Ricky June, touchdown. You're stunned, aren't you?
Well, I'm impressed. I like the play calling is what it is. I like, 1st down, success, success, success. We're pounding them on 1st down. 8 yards, 6 yards, 5 yards. And then you go play pass. You got everybody sucking up trying to stop that run on 1st down because they've been beating us on 1st down. And they go back to June. I like the confidence that these coordinators have shown in their quarterbacks as well. Marshall, it's been an adventure, and now they'll go for 2.
That would make it a 3-point game. Quay Searcy brings the play. One-point lead for Georgia Tech. Slot set, 2 receivers to the right. Marshall looks. Now going to come back here to the left. Has Mack to beat. Circles, dives, hit the pylon, and the 2-pointer. What a play by Taquan Marshall. Jordan Mack gave great effort here, James, and almost got it.
Yeah, he did. And when it's all on the line, though, number 16 is a football player. Look at him dive. Heck of an effort by Mack. Pieces back there, too. That's without a doubt a touchdown. Just has to have control as he goes across the line. And Marshall making it happen on 3rd down a couple times. Does it to make it a 3-point game with the 2-point conversion.
Well, Taquan Marshall to Ricky June for 33 yards, and then Marshall's 2-point play gives Georgia Tech a 3-point lead with 3:10 to go. Virginia's got all 3 timeouts, and they're just going to hook this one to the far side. And this is Daniel Ham at the 24. And brought down about the 36. So the Cavaliers with all 3 timeouts. Benkert takes the shot, and Zacchaeus a diving catch at the Georgia Tech 45. What a catch by Alameda Zacchaeus, 19 yards.
There you go, a few drops here in this football game. When they need him the most, though, he lays out, tucks it in, and secures it. That's absolutely a catch, and they're rolling here off that first play.
4 receivers, Ellis in the backfield with Benkert. They're going to run the ball. Benkert will keep it. And Benkert turned and lowered his shoulder and picked up about 5 on 1st down. Bruce Jordan Swilling, who had a pick 6 early in the half, made the play. Well, Virginia right up on the football now. They're going to throw it out in the flat. Here is Ellis. And Jordan Ellis will have the 1st down. Nice play by the Cavaliers. They got it to the running back, but maybe in a different way, James.
Absolutely, and nice job by Ellis because that ball was coming in hot and heavy. It was a rocket. And with the wet conditions, Ellis hangs on. And a good job by his blockers down the field to spring him for a 1st down.
Under 2 minutes to play, 1st and 10. And here's Dowling the catch. Pulled down at the 26. That's a gain of 9 on 1st down. Here go the Cavaliers and Jackets again, James. These 2 teams seemingly find a way to do this type deal every time they play.
90 seconds we're creeping up on. 3 timeouts here for Bronco Mendenhall and his Cavaliers. Obviously, they don't want to go into overtime. They want to win this sucker in regulation.
Benkert going to tee it up, throw deep, and it's caught. Touchdown, Levrone. second TD catch of the day for Andre Levrone. Third TD pass in the half for Kurt Benkert.
Benkert's guys continue to take care of him, keep him clean. And he takes care of those receivers by giving them beautifully delivered footballs. Levrone again the target, and a big target at that, towering up and above. Woo! That went in.
Unbelievable. So it's a 4-point game.
That's huge.
Yes, it is. Georgia Tech's got 2 timeouts. Here's Cottrell off the goal line. Nathan Cottrell to the 24.
Just, I mean, to come out and to play after a big speed bump he hit there late in the senior season the last couple of weeks. Now can the defense shut him down with 1:16.
Marshall wants to throw on first down. Taquan squeezes it past Jordan Mack. Now takes off up the field. First down. Micah Kaiser, and he'll step out of bounds before Kaiser can knock him down. Stops the clock with 1:05 to play. And Paul Johnson, who messaged in a majority of his plays, will give one to Taquan Marshall right there.
So 2 timeouts now for the Jackets. That clock is sitting right there at 1:05. And good coverage down the field, but also you've got to account for this quarterback that we've seen time and time again can do damage with his wheels.
Pressure coming. He'll take the shot and throw it out of bounds. I think J.J. Green was the closest Yellow Jacket, and he was near the midfield line, so it's 2nd and 10 with a minute to go.
This is where, obviously, it makes it tougher. It's one thing when you've got plenty of clock left and you fool them with a play-action pass on first down and you're wide open down the middle of the field. You better believe this is a prevent style, keep them in front, mind that pass defense right now by Virginia with an eye on that quarterback there.
Marshall in trouble. And he's sacked by Peace. Timeout, Georgia Tech. Chris Peace, one of about the 4 or 5 Cavaliers that are going to end up being very instrumental in kind of keeping Georgia Tech in check during the afternoon.
But they had 3 guys on Brown. Andrew Brown has been such a force here today, and there's Peace, who's had an outstanding game from his linebacker spot.
Marshall tried to go to June. It was short. 4th down.
Trying to draw up some magic over there on the sidelines and make sure it's not another heartbreaker in the rain. It was all Clemson last weekend, but you go back a couple weeks in that Miami game, you talk about a punch to the gut, one of the toughest losses for this program in a while. Game they thought they had won in the rain against Miami and had to feel pretty good a few moments ago in this one, but now it's down to a final play on 4th and 16.
Marshall looks, gonna cut it loose. Downfield, June makes the catch. Stepping out of bounds at the 32-yard line, Ricky June.
My goodness. Throw there waiting on him, and how about June? We saw Cersei with a big catch earlier. Thornhill gets turned around. Back to the ground in 41 seconds now.
Cavaliers coming with pressure. Shot for June and cannot make the play. Juan Thornhill in stride with Ricky June.
They may have gotten away with a little bit of a hold there. I think Thornhill had the jersey. No flags come down, and they're going to go right back at Thornhill. Thornhill's a pretty good player, but he's been banged up a little bit, and it's almost like he looks a little bit rusty. Where he's recovered, he's a good enough athlete to recover, but it hasn't been the smoothest process for him here.
Shading Blanding over there to that side, too, the playmaker.
Blanding up top here, trying to help out.
Marshall, 2nd and 10. And he'll get out of bounds here. So now, and no yards on the play, third and the full, it looks like, coming for Georgia Tech. 29 seconds left. Paul Johnson has one timeout. You see the 3 for Bronco Mendenhall. Georgia Tech's only chance is a touchdown. Georgia Tech's only won 4 times in Charlottesville, James, ever. 2 of them belong to Paul Johnson. 2009, 2013.
See if this Virginia defensive front can put the pressure on Marshall once again.
Marshall sacked. Timeout. And again, a 4th down play coming up. Andrew Brown, big number 9, was there. And Juan Thornhill came in the mix too, I think, huh?
Yeah, Thornhill from his corner spot. How about this play call by Bronco Mendenhall? He brings his corner off the edge. Look at Brown just walking back that offensive lineman, Will Bryant.
Here comes the pressure again from the corner. Now Marshall leaks out. Peace gives chase. Marshall going to put it up, and it's well offline and incomplete. And Virginia's going to win the game, and the Cavaliers are going to get to 6 wins. In another wild Virginia-Georgia Tech game in Charlottesville.
West 13 has played his guts out today. Chris Peace, you know, a lot is said about Micah Kaiser, justifiably so. But Peace, the junior linebacker, man, has he been fun to watch. You talk about guys giving it their all on this defensive side of the ball. How many times do you see a quarterback like Marshall just outrun a guy and have time? But it's such a big hustle play by Peace. He refuses to give up one more time. And he just puts it on him to where he can't set his feet. He can't see anything down the field, forced to throw it up into the band. And win number 6 for Bronco and the Hoos.
And that'll be the last snap of the game. So Bronco Mendenhall in his 2nd year at Charlottesville. After a 2-10 campaign a year ago, a 5-1 start. They snap a 2-game losing streak today, James, to go bowl eligible for the first time since 2011.
Coach, you look a little emotional right now. This is the 6th win of the season, that elusive 6th win. How great does this feel?
So happy for my players, and I'm thankful for their trust, and just it's fun to see them happy.
Congratulations, Coach. Guys.
Rebecca, thanks. Thanks to Bronco Mendenhall. Well, week 10 in the ACC. Full of chills and thrills, they say, right? Into November. We'll see you next Saturday for another big conference ball game. For James Bates, Rebecca Capel, our producer Dave Berenger, our director Mike Miller. West Durham from Scott Stadium, where the Cavaliers beat the Jackets 40-36. You've been watching ACC football.